All right, so the worldwide download celebration was officially confirmed on the JP and global Twitter accounts to be the Cooler versus Goku movie, which is of course Cooler's Revenge. Possibly we'll see, the second part. No, it's Cooler's Revenge and then the Return of Cooler, right? Essentially, in these videos, we are going to be going over potential easy A's that we could see during the celebration. So, of course, like I said, I'm not alone here today. I'm joined by the Max Ningen, and in this video, we're going to be going over the potential super class easy A's we can get, so all the good guys. And in part two, we're going to also be going over the extreme class side, right? So, with that away, say hello, Ningen.
Yo, how's it going, everybody? Very excited. Big fan of Final Form Cooler. Big fan of the movie in general. So, pretty excited to go over this. And yeah, and like Minato said, in this video, we're going to talk about all the super types. My part, we're going to talk about all the extreme types. So, obviously, let us know your thoughts down below about our picks. If we miss anyone, give us your thoughts. And yeah, whenever you're ready, I'm good to crack on.
All right, exactly that. Yeah, I mean, Cooler and Super Saiyan Goku is so exciting, but I mean, it kind of there's this new update on the Chrome. I think like when you hover over like a tab, it like shows like a little view of it. So it kind of showed the first one by accident already, but whatever. It's a Namek Goku right here, right? So this is actually a unit that we wanted to EZA for last year's worldwide celebration of 350 million downloads. And honestly, this guy easing right now, I think would be perfect. Because, like, we see in this, like, little teaser trailer, they still show all this Namek stuff. So, like, kind of there's a connection there, right?
Yep.
I think it would be good, just a new, this Namek Goku finally easying. It just kind of matches with, like, me and Ian were talking about this, but, like, a Sane versus Wicked Bloodline kind of theme. And obviously, this is the Goku that pop Frieza on Namek. I think he'd be a very exciting unit, right?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we wanted him to EZA last year, and unless we wait God knows how long for the next time they decide to do a Namek Saga themed celebration, or I guess they could do one just themed around Super Saiyans, but he fits the theme of this because obviously Goku transforming into a Super Saiyan on Namek and killing Frieza is the direct lead in to the Cooler movie. It's the whole reason Cooler shows up, so I feel like even though he's from Namek, like it fits the theme of the celebration for him to get an EZA. So
And I would definitely agree with that. I think that I actually saw a lot of Japanese players in the comments of the actual tweet. They were asking for this guy to EZA. They're like Namagoku Extreme Limit, right? And it was like, okay, so they're thinking the same thing as we are, right? I would say the one thing I would hope that they would fix is that guard, medium chance to guard. At least make it, because make it high chance at least, right? Since they're like giving that. But man, if they fix that guard, he's stacking, he could be quite nasty. So I'm very excited to see what he could do. But yeah, that's Esther and Namagoku, of course. We're gonna move on next to Physical Kaioken Goku. Oh, actually, you're supposed to mention that, huh?
Oh, that's all good. So the next one we thought of, was Physical Kaioken Goku, and it's kind of the same thing. Obviously, there's not a lot of units in the game that are, especially for Gokus, that are directly from the Cooler movie. So obviously, even though, again, this one is from Namek, it is like, the lead into that whole thing. And like Minato said at the beginning, we were kind of thinking about units that could fit into a Wicked Bloodline versus Saiyans kind of thing, because obviously, as a lot of people have speculated already, one movie is probably not a big enough theme for the entire worldwide download celebration. So, part 2 could be the second Cooler movie, or part 2 could be other random movies, but yeah, this kind of fits with that Saiyans versus Wicked Bloodline thing, because just like Namek Goku, this is from the previous arc, but those are the events that lead into the Cooler movie. So obviously, yeah, like I said, there's not a huge amount of Goku units from the Cooler movie to pick from. So I think this guy could be pretty interesting. He was solid when he came out. What would you like to see them do with this guy?
I mean, they've been giving a lot of these units that built up guard for the first few turns. I think that'd be really strong for him, where maybe he gets defense added to that attack buff he has, and then he guards with the first returns, add defense to his super attack effects, and then maybe give him some sort of, I don't know, like Rainbow Orb changing, supporting ability, right? Something special to kind of distinct him from other units, and that's really all I would want, right? He'd actually be a sub EZA from the Transforming Goku EZA too, right? So I don't know.
Yeah, so
yeah, would there be anything you would add, right?
I mean, that ties in well as well, I guess, because obviously transforming Goku Easy A last year, so getting a sub Easy A from his event would kind of tie in well as well. But yeah, I agree. He needs to get hit to get his buffs, so it would be cool if he had some extra defensive capability, even if it wasn't guard, maybe like damage reduction or something like that for the first few turns. And then, yeah, getting a bit of defense as well with the attack each time he gets hit. I think that would work quite nicely because then he has that buffer, so you can let him take some hits in the early turns. And then when it wears off, whether it is guard or damage reduction, he's then hopefully fully built up by that point. So yeah, I think that could be pretty good for him. He's got a good link set as well, because even though he's not a Super Saiyan, he has prepared for battle and shocking speed, and he has all in the family, which obviously is a pretty big link for some of these like Goku family setups with hybrids and stuff. So yeah, he could definitely be very good.
Just last thing to note, All in the Family, what a goated link. 20% defense. Give me more of those, man, for real. But yeah, we'll go ahead and segue to the next unit again. So this is actually Tech Kid Gohan, right? So this is a unit that he got his awakening with the physical Piccolo Dokkan Fest event, right? So even though he technically would be sub easy there, I think it's realistic they could really easy A, any unit from the Kulu movie. And this is like the only like super class unit from the first Kulu movie that we actually really have a TUR for, besides the Goku, right? If I'm not mistaken. Didn't really cover that movie much on the super side.
Yeah, exactly. Because he's one of those units that feels like it's kind of like when they finally did the future, like Tanabata theme, and we all kind of turned around and was like, right, this is the celebration where Tech Goku Black and Zamasu like would have to get an easy A, otherwise where else are they going to fit it in? And this unit very much feels like this, because like you said, this is pretty much one of the only units that is very clearly from the Cooler movie. So since it's unlikely that we're ever going to revisit that movie as a main theme again, I think the chances would be pretty high that he could get an easy A. And the thing is, he's not bad. He obviously hasn't aged great, but like back in the day, he could be good for Super Battle Road. Like he's got built-in dodge. He has that full heal ability. So if they made him a unit that was actually good enough to stand up defensively in some of the harder content, he could end up being a really good unit for something like the Red Zone. Because nowadays, he's a massive defensive liability, but the heal is quite a nice bonus. Whereas if they made him good enough defensively to actually be good in difficult events, he's then carrying that like free heal for you as well, which could obviously be very, very useful.
I think giving him stacking would be the way to go, because if you see, a lot of his stuff is against like evading, right? He has high chance to evade in the first attacker, right? That doesn't work against Broly, so if they give him stacking to kind of work around that, I think he could be a really good option for that Broly fight. And I don't know. I don't think he would be better than the Dokkan Fist Kid Gohan, maybe, but that full heal could be very, very useful, right?
Oh, yes. All right, so moving on to the next one. So again, as we've already said, not a huge amount of units from the first Cooler movie. And the Cooler movie itself, maybe not enough to carry the entire celebration. So a few people I've seen speculation on this already. I've talked about it as well myself. I'm sure Minato has as well. But I could very easily see part 2 of the celebration moving into the second Cooler movie, because we've obviously got a bunch of stuff from that we need to see as well. So the first one we have here from that is the Tech Super Saiyan Vegeta. So I remember when this guy came out, he was okay. High chance to stun. I think I ended up using him in like Vegeta Family Super Battle Road or something like that. But you can see like his kit is very basic. He's got a typical like Super Saiyan Vegeta link set. He seems like one of those units that's primed for like a good easy A could make him actually really good. So what do you think about this guy?
I would say that high chance of stun. I really like the stuns and the super attack effects. I think they're really good. If done justice, he could be really well, because like I'm thinking Super Saiyan Vegeta in the game, there's not really a good one, right? Global, like you guys are gonna barely get that Prime Battle Vegeta, but in my opinion, he is like a little underwhelming, right? So if we do get a good like Super Saiyan Vegeta sub easy from this guy, I think that could be really, really nice, just to fill a little hole in there. And obviously, his link set would work really good still with like whatever the LR Super Saiyan Goku, if he is Super Saiyan, right? Probably will be, right? He'll at least try like Super Saiyan, prepared for battle, first battle, those general links, right? And having buffs at low HP is good for red zone, I found, right? If you're on, a lot of times you're going to find yourself low HP start of turn. So that can make them become really powerful for, again, as a tech unit against Broly, which is arguably the hardest boss, right, for the red zone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Oh yes.
I don't even know if I would say arguably. He's just straight up the hardest boss, right?
Yep.
But yeah, I think he'd be a really good pick. And again, from one of the Cooler movies, so would make sense with the theme if it's straight up Cooler movie. But another one that's actually from that same movie that we could talk about is the STR Piccolo, right? So the STR Piccolo is, another, again, like I said, unit from that Cooler movie. I believe, again, he also Dokkan Awakens from the AGL Meta Cooler Dokkan, if I'm right. So again, he's technically going to be another sub EZA, but I could see them have how they had Tech God Goku and STR God Vegeta EZA together. They could do one for these two, the Vegeta and the Piccolo, and that would make a lot of sense. Even with the Gohan, right?
Yep.
Like a
Yep.
trio EZA, they do that sometimes.
Mhm.
His AoE is the one thing that's scary about them, because AoE units sometimes they are a little iffy with them. We've seen two recent units on global have some very iffy AoE stuff, right?
Hey, well, you better not be talking about Chadits.
Oh, sorry, might go 10 million AoE guaranteed crit. It's over for the enemy, man.
But yeah, this guy I think has potential, because he's another one of those units. If you look at his kit the way it is now, it's very basic. He just has start of turn attack and defense, and then when you're facing multiple enemies, he gets extra key and an extra attack and defense buff. So it's a pretty solid base for an EZA, because they can just bump up all of those numbers, and then it's pretty much a blank slate to give him some kind of other extra ability. And being an AoE unit that can stun, obviously he could be very good for Super Battle Road. So I think he definitely has potential, but he is one of those units, because his base kit before EZA is so basic, they pretty much could do anything with him. Something like orb changing would be nice, because obviously he suffers, like most non-Saiyan units in the game, just being a random Namekian. If you want to fit him into some of your teams like movie heroes, he's not going to necessarily link up the best with everybody. So something like orb changing would be pretty good for him. But yeah, for Super Battle Road, I think after an EZA, he could be really good.
I would agree, right? And maybe giving him a buff when he's actually against one enemy, because I feel like a lot of the times you're not going to be facing multiple enemies, right? It's really Super Battle Road and World Tournament, right? I guess World Tournament.
Yeah.
But I don't know. For me, I'm just like Keon. I want these units to be good for Red Zone, but who knows? There could be a new difficult content we get, and maybe AoEs could be really powerful there.
I mean, actually, yeah, I do agree with that, because obviously, especially against one enemy in all the harder content like the Red Zone, when you get to all the final bosses, you can't stun. So obviously, the fact that he's an AoE unit who stuns as kind of two of his bigger strengths, neither of those really matter in the Red Zone. So yeah, against one enemy, it'd be nice for him to get some kind of extra defensive utility, like we've mentioned again, whether it's guard or damage reduction or something like that against one enemy, and maybe like a bigger singular attack boost, because obviously he only does supreme damage because he's an AoE. So against one enemy, definitely needs some kind of buff. I do agree with that. It's a good point.
Yeah, and I think enough talk about Piccolo, right? We have some extra EZAs there. So again, we said that there wasn't really much from the Kulu movies that they really covered in the past few years. So I'll let Ningen I can't even speak apparently. Segue to this next unit. I think that has a chance of getting one.
Yeah, so keeping in theme with the just kind of movies in general, because again, as Minato said, even both the Cooler movies together, there's only so many units. So I could see them veering off into part two, whether they do Cooler movie part two or not. It could have more of a general movies overall theme. Because remember, everything we've seen so far, even the teasers from the trailer and stuff, all that really confirms is what's going to be happening in part one. We don't really know, like, the overarching theme of the celebration. So if it is movies, then there's obviously a couple of LRs that could get EZAs. So the first one that we're going to talk about here is the affectionately named Gobros, the Super Saiyan Gohan and Super Saiyan Goten. I am a huge fan of this unit. Maybe I'm like partially biased because it was a global first, and when they came out, they were actually super hype. It was a global first that released and was actually one of the best units in the game. They came out before the anniversary, so if you were lucky enough to pull them, you already had a Goku family lead before LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku came out. So this unit's always been really hype for me. I would love to see a new one, because the as much as I love their active skill, like the Family Kamehameha, I really want to see the one, you know, like from the movie where it's the side-on shot of the three of them, like all in blue. But even so, I love the second Broly movie because I love the family Kamehameha. So this unit, they have dropped off now for sure. I've seen people posting some screenshots recently. Like if you're running them on a good team with support and they're fully built up, they can do some numbers that still look okay, but for the actual difficult content, they've definitely dropped off, especially in terms of defense. So this unit with an easy A, I feel like as long as they don't fumble, you know, give this easy A to the team that did Goku Black and Zamasu, and this could be like one of the best easy A LRs in the game quite easily. So what do you think?
I'd agree, right? I think that one thing I would like for them to see is shorten the time it takes for them to build up, because it takes them a really long time to really build up quickly, obviously, right? Which is okay for certain content, right? But obviously the better or faster unit builds up, the better it is for them. Maybe adding defense, greatly raise attack and defense on their super attack effects, that could make a huge difference with how their passive works together. And if they really want to go nasty, make that medium chance of becoming a super a high chance, right? And then they could be looking really strong, because you have to keep in mind, LREZAs do not get the stat boost, right? So they really need to give a little extra love than usual when designing these upgrades.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely agree with that, because the medium chance to get an additional, or at least the only because they launch a guaranteed additional attack, which is always good because it helps to trigger the hidden potential. But yeah, the medium chance is not really high enough. At least it does work well with their kit, because they do get their build up from any type of attack that they perform. But obviously this unit is going to be looking really good post easy A if you're getting those triple super turns. So yeah, if that going up to a high chance, I feel like that's not too broken considering some of the stuff we have in the game already. I mean, we literally have LRs that do guaranteed additional super attacks after their 18 key now. So I feel like bumping that up to a high chance is not too game breaking. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to these guys. The active skill condition, I know that's a thing that I've heard a lot of people that look at the data talking about, that they can't change active skill conditions with easy A's, but I honestly never thought their one was that bad. But
I would say it's not that bad for sure, right? Yeah. Like by the time you're in the third turn, a lot of the times you maybe only be facing one enemy. Just a point of that, I'd say, they can always introduce an app update, which we know is coming to global.
Exactly.
So if they ever want to change active skill conditions, it would be probably in this upcoming, you know, beta download or a global update that we'll see, right? So I guess stay tuned for that.
Yeah, exactly. Never say never. That's the biggest thing we should have all learned about Dokkan by now, is when people say, oh, they'll never do this because they've never done it before. I mean, you could say that about every major quality of life update we've ever got. So, but yeah, the game needs an app update if they want to be able to change active skills with easy A's, but you never know. It could happen. So yeah, overall, regardless of whether they changed it or not, I think I'd be very excited for this unit to get an easy A.
Very, very true. And there's actually another tech Goku family LREZA, and kind of give it away with that, right? People are very excited about this guy, right? Tech LR Super Saiyan 3 Goku, just another General Movies unit that I think that he's actually technically he's the second next to 9 LR EZA. I'll show this on the screen here, but it's in Bojack than this guy. If they want to like go through just General Movies EZA and get this guy out of the way, I think that'd be pretty awesome, right? When he came out, he was like the best unit in the game, right? I
think he was the hardest hitting unit.
He was the hardest hitting unit, yeah. Because he came out right before the 3rd anniversary, right? If I'm not mistaken. I believe so.
JP, it was December 2017.
Yeah, December 2017, right? That's right before the 3rd anniversary, I believe, right? At least I remember that because, funny story, I got him off a single summon off like that little mini banner that they got, and I remember that being before the 7th anniversary, and I was like, oh my god, Super Saiyan 3 Goku, right?
He was actually the first summonable LR that I ever rainbowed, and then, funnily enough, the next time I summoned on an LR banner, he was the first LR that I pulled. So straight away after rainbowing him, I pulled an extra copy of him. But yeah, I've always been a big fan of this unit. His TUR is terrible, but yeah, I've always been a big fan of Super Saiyan 3. So I really like this unit. The animation is sick. It would be cool again to see a crazy good new Dragon Fist, but I've always loved the, like the end screen with the fist in the air. The number one thing, which I'm sure you would agree, please let's get rid of this minus 70% defense when performing an Ultra Super. I feel like we've now got units in the game that are so insane that a unit that's going to deal this kind of damage doesn't need to have that kind of massive drawback. And I mean, the number one example is look at like STR Kaioken Goku, who at like 55% can hit like 11 million attack stats against the Vegeta. This guy was never hitting 11 million attack when he first came out. So yeah, he doesn't need to have minus 70% defense anymore.
I literally, like, I knew you were going to say that, and I highlighted it right before you did. That has to be fixed. You have to give him some way to get ki. I think that's super important. Because, look, before the link level update, it was so much easier. Because he does have a good amount of ki links. Like, you know, over in a flash, shattering the limit, right? That did give him 5 ki, which is pretty important, right? But when they fix the update, those only activate once. So him not having any ki sucks. I could actually.
I remember before the update on the Super Saiyan 3 team, you just put him in slot 2 between 2 Super Saiyan 3 units, one of which has shattering the limit, and then he's getting like 8 ki off of that rotation.
Yeah.
But once they fixed it, then he's definitely one of those LRs that having ki in his passive would be super, super helpful for him.
I think one thing I could see him getting is the S tier Super Vegeta type effect, where let's say he does the 18 ki Dragon Fist, then he guaranteed crits for the rest of the turn. I think that would just make sense for Dragon Fist, right? It's Dragon Fist, man. Come on, right?
Yeah. Dragon Fist being a guaranteed crit would be sick. I'd agree with that.
That's for sure. We actually do have one more at the end, I believe, right?
Yep. So one last one that again it ties into movies. It is a Super Saiyan Goku, although it doesn't really fit in with the whole Wicked Bloodline thing. But depending which way they want to go with it, it's a movie Super Saiyan Goku. So I think is it the next movie? It's somewhere between Cooler and
I think it's after Return of Cooler because Trunks wasn't in that movie, but Trunks was in the 13 movie, right?
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, it's around the same kind of time frame because no one's going Super Saiyan 2. Obviously, the movies don't fit perfectly into the canon anyway. But yes, it's another Super Saiyan Goku, and that is the Spirit Bomb Goku or Gumku or Bombku, whatever people want to call him.
I mean, he was good when he came out. Really good.
He was very good when he came out. And I mean, nowadays you can use him in some things. But I often find he's one of those units where I don't really like it when they do this with with LRs, because obviously most of the time you want to go all out and see big damage and all that kind of stuff. But you can use him in some more difficult content at the moment if you deliberately just get his 12 ki super, because he greatly raises his defense. But that's no fun. You want to be getting his 18 ki super. He lowers attack and defense and seals, which was always good for things like Super Battle Road. He creates rainbow orbs, which is pretty useful. Overall, like, he could just be, as long as they shore up his defense, he's another one of those units like Super Saiyan 3 Goku that could just be really, really powerful with an easy A, because like you said, he was very good when he came out. So as long as his defense is good, an easy A could have this guy like chucking out crazy damage numbers. So what do you think for this guy?
I mean, just give him the bread and butter, extra 59% attacking defense on super, make him greatly raise defense on his 18 ki too. Just give him like 3 super attack effects. Who cares, right? And
yeah, why not?
I'd say the only potential thing about this guy is that, you know, let's say the easy A him, let's say the new LR is Super Saiyan Goku as well. You know, then we have Namek Goku still in the game. There's like a bunch of Super Saiyan Gokus, but if they design them to be a different role than those other two, then I think that'd be a way to work around the fact that there's so many good Super Saiyan Gokus. But it would just be kind of odd. It's like, you know, oh, which one do I want to use, right?
Yeah, because to that point, what they could do, because obviously he creates orbs, which whilst it's not a direct like support ability, that's useful for the team, as you know, outside of just himself. I think they could go, if you think about like a kind of, you know, the free-to-play STR for Geo Blue kind of thing, because his defense is better with his 12 key super. I feel like he's one of those units he could really benefit with a chance. I don't know if they would make it guaranteed, but like a chance to do an additional super when you get the 18 key as like part of his passive, because then that would stop you having to deliberately go for the 12 key if you want him to be good defensively. And then because he's not a stacking unit, he's just greatly raising it for the turn. That would make him kind of viable on those kind of teams, even with like a new Super Saiyan Goku. He would work quite well as a floating slot 3 unit because he's creating orbs for the rotation and then he's doing a bunch of damage in slot 3 while also raising his defense. So that could be a role that could fit this unit really well, I think, for those teams that do have a bunch of other Super Saiyan Goku options.
Yeah, I would agree. That's me actually a really good way, making him like a slot 3 unit. Maybe even give him some like support to Super Saiyans, right? Because obviously he's really based around wanting to be on the entire Super Saiyans category rotation, which I think either way, even having a new LR Super Saiyan Goku next to him would activate that at the very least, right? If you have him floating.
Yep. Well, he creates rainbow orbs. He gets extra key from rainbow orbs. They could throw on like Super Saiyan allies get X amount of support per rainbow orb collected or something like that as well.
That could be cool. Like 7% attack and defense. Imagine, and you get like 4 rainbow orbs. Whew.
Yes, there you go.
I mean, yeah, and that is pretty much all the EZAs, right? Again, there's not that many options for the super class. I feel like extreme class may have a little more openness to it, but regardless, I think that honestly, if any of these guys EZAs, especially like Namek Goku or even Gohan and Goten, I would be personally very excited for them. So like Negan said at the beginning of the video, if we missed any unit that you think should be included in here, feel free to let us know in the comments below, and I'll be happy to see what you guys think. From me and Negan again, thank you all for watching, and make sure to check out part 2. We'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.
Take it easy.